I'm Kathy Unruh. Welcome to First Look at Tampa's redevelopment. Coming up, we start off with a cup of fresh tea and a sweet treat from the new Bamboozle Tea Lounge in the Channel District. Next, a visit with Tom Stork to check out the expansion work underway at the Florida Aquarium. And finally, we hit the waterfront for an update on how the few remaining segments of the Tampa Riverwalk are coming together for completion. Stay tuned, it's all ahead on First Look at Tampa's redevelopment. In the Bamboozle Tea Lounge with co-owner Bonnie Duan-Trixie. Bamboozle, why that name?
It's just something that sparks everybody's interest. It gets you to be like, oh, bamboozle you into what? So the whole name and the concept of bamboozling our customers, people into eating healthy and realizing that healthy food is actually tasty and good for you. So,
because you're not just about tea.
No, we're not.
Tell us a little bit about your food, besides that it's healthy.
The food that we have here, it's favorites from our downtown location, Bamboozle Cafe. We offer pho boats, noodle salads, banh mi's, which are Vietnamese sandwiches. And we also offer the teas that we have as well as bobas. Milk teas, smoothies, fresh juices that like sugarcane juice that we have here.
Bobas.
Bobas. Those are the small black tapioca balls that everybody loves. You can put it in your teas, in your smoothie, milk teas. It just gives it a little different texture and a little different. It's sort of like gummy worms.
Okay, gummy worms in my tea.
Yes.
I've never tried that. It's something new and different.
Yes, it is. It's a very popular island down here.
Now, you mentioned your downtown location, so let's talk right now about where we are. We're in the Channelside District, and your address is?
109 North 12th Street, Suite 1101.
And my landmarks as I'm trying to find you.
We are directly across from the Washington Dog Park.
And the downtown location is at Twiggs and
Tampa.
So that's where it started with your business partner, Lynn.
Yes.
And then you joined Lynn here.
Yes.
So that must mean things are pretty good.
Oh, the downtown location is awesome. It is growing. We have so many customers, so many favorites, and it has just skyrocketed. You know, we've grown as the years have gone by. More people know about what we offer, the fresh, healthy food, you know, so it's just something that we're really proud of, and Lynn's really proud of. So that's why we decided to bring a little bit of that down to this location to offer to the residents and businesses, local businesses here in Channelside.
And despite the name Tea Lounge, this isn't where you come to get your early morning tea. You're open from mid-morning until late evening. Yes. This is for lunch, midday, dinner.
Brunch, lunch, and dinner, yes.
And the healthy and the variety of foods, is that a particular ethnic background or a mix?
It is, because Lynn and I, we've grown up with eating fresh vegetables, fresh ingredients, so it's something that is a part of us and our culture. So we love the food, and Lynn has always loved cooking it. You know, we've grown up with our parents and our aunts and cousins watching them make these delicious dishes. So we wanted to be like, well, why wouldn't we be able to do that? You know, something to offer to maybe our families and our friends. So that's how the concept started, just to eat healthy and live healthy.
And we're learning more and more that tea can be really good for us, some teas.
Some teas, yes. The teas that we have 30 different teas on our wall. We have black teas, green teas, white teas, caffeine-free. The black teas are the strongest, which has the most caffeine, and then the white teas have the least. My favorite tea right now is the honeybush. It's very light. Honeybush hazelnut has a hint of hazelnut, something not for everybody, but if you like that particular taste of hazelnut, great. Other ones, like the black ones, the oolongs, it's just whatever you prefer depending on the time of the day.
So basically try them all and see
Yes,
what you really
that's
like.
what we tell our customers. Try them all. You can open them up, smell them, and 30 different teas. Try a different tea every day.
Is that what you do? You have your little favorite for a while and then you move on to another one? And you have a lot of baked goods too. Are they baked here?
They are baked over at the cafe. We bring everything over from the cafe, fresh daily.
But they're baked by you.
Yes, they are baked by us.
What's your favorite part of the Bamboozle?
Just being here and interacting with the customers, educating them about our menu, what our vegetables, our ingredients offer, how healthy it is, and just to educate them. You know, just to sit and chit chat and just find out what their favorite items are. And it's nice to interact with them, and you actually become friends with them because you see them on a daily basis. So they become your regulars, and when they walk in, you're like, oh, hey, George, you want this? You know, you want your favorite? It's like, yeah. So it's nice. We love that aspect of the business.
And the days and hours of operation?
We are open Monday through Saturdays. Monday through Fridays, we're open from 10:30 until 9. And then Saturdays, we are open from 11 a.m. until 9 p.m.
And if you want to come in the evening or even for lunch, it's not just tea as
No,
a beverage.
No, it is not. We just got our beer and wine license, so we are able to offer beer and wine, sake. So we are looking forward to our customers coming here at night, relaxing on wine, having a glass of wine, a beer, just hanging out, whether inside or outside. So it is something that we are looking forward to offering.
So how do the health benefits of sake compare to tea?
It really isn't. It's just one of the benefits, a perk that you can treat yourself. You know, a long day at work, you have a cup of tea in the morning, and then you come in and wine with us and play some games, smoke some hookahs outside. And it's just one of the little treats that you can offer yourself for eating healthy here at the Tea Lounge.
I think the relaxation's healthy, don't you?
Yes, I agree. That's what we try to offer.
Well, great, and continued good luck to you. Have fun.
Thank you.
We are not under the sea. We're at the Florida Aquarium with Executive Director Tom Stork, and we want to talk about the rising tide here, but it's not the water, it's the Rising Tide campaign.
Correct.
Tell me about it.
We are at a point in our development. The aquarium is now 18 years old. And we're at the point where we're looking out into the future and where we're going to go. And one of the points there is because we can. Financially, we're on solid ground, and we can really plan for the future. And when we look at the future and what we're going to do, there are things we want to do. There are things like dolphin exhibits that people tell us they want to see, sea lion exhibits that people tell us they want to see. But there really are things we need to do. We need to further flesh out the product, and that being, we educate 100,000 school kids a year. We have 2 classrooms. Education is a huge part of who we are and what we do. We need to grow that education program. So we're going to build an education center, a 5-classroom education center.
Which will allow you to educate how many compared to the current
Well,
one?
hopefully double at least. We want to go well beyond that. Secondarily, changing exhibit hall. We don't have a place right now where we can bring in a changing exhibit, something new and different that'll drive attendance. So we're going to build a changing exhibit hall. Thirdly, events. And people asking, why are you building an event facility? You're an aquarium. Well, we did 250 events here last year. During the RNC, we did 13 events during a 4-day time period. This is a terrific venue, and we don't have a room where we can feed 150 people for a sit-down dinner. So we're going to build a 600-seat ballroom. That further drives revenue. All of this makes our mission work, and our mission is to educate. Our mission is to preserve the environment. Our mission is to do research. All those products help drive the revenues, which help drive the mission.
So how much money are you trying to raise, and how far along are you?
The campaign is a $15 million campaign. And I'm happy to say that we are 8.5, 9 million. And I say 8.5, 9 million. There are a couple of checks that still need to come in, but we're well over halfway there. And we've only been doing this about 18 months now. And so I'm very happy with where we are. And we've started the first phase. This will be a 3-year project. And we've started, and it's a 3-year project because we have to remain open every day. And so we have to do it in phases. The first phase has started, and we will finish that in the spring. And then in the fall of 13, we will start the second phase.
When you say remain open every day, do visitors feel the impact of the construction, or is everything accessible to them?
Everything is accessible. Right now, with this first phase, what we're doing is we're building what we call the West Wing. And the West Wing is really the setup for everything else. We're building a new conference room because we're losing an old room that becomes part of the education center. So we need that meeting facility. But we're also building a new Ray touch tank for our guests. But it sets up the west side of the building for the future expansion, which comes on the south side of the building. To answer your question, though, right now there's no impact on guests. And the way we planned it through all 3 phases, there will be impacts. They'll see it, but there won't be impacts as far as traffic coming and going through the building.
And when you talk about the education classrooms, what actually happens there? Do kids come and spend a day, a portion of a day?
I mentioned to you earlier 100,000 school kids that we put through our programs, and it's everything from preschool kids up to college and adult. And probably what you see the most is kids coming in field trips. You see a lot of those in the spring, and then you see a lot of camps during the summer where kids are spending a week or 2 weeks with us. So, you know, there are classroom experiences that these children go through, but there are also experiences where we take them out. We take them to the beach to do seining. We take them fishing. We take them on the Hillsborough River. So it's all a part of the program. But from the classroom standpoint, we just need more space.
The traveling exhibit, give me an example of what kinds of things travel in the aquarium world.
One of the things we're looking at is prehistoric undersea creatures. I mean, you've seen dinosaur exhibits at various attractions. Well, we're talking about a dinosaur exhibit, but a marine dinosaur exhibit. What were the creatures that lived millions of years ago underwater? Other examples, the Titanic exhibit, which we probably would not do, the bodies exhibit like you saw at Mosey, those exhibits that travel around the country, or an exhibit that we build that could then travel.
So these would be dry exhibits, not wet exhibits?
Not necessarily. Not necessarily. We are building this in such a way that we could put tanks in there.
And the ballroom that you mentioned. One of the attractions of events here is that you get to see the inner workings of the aquarium and the sea creatures. How will that be incorporated?
It will be incorporated. The room will be separate. It's on the south side of the building. It's actually a triangular shaped building. It overlooks Harbor Island. It overlooks the channel, the port. It overlooks downtown Tampa. It's going to be just a fantastic location, floor to ceiling glass. But then when guests do come in, they will have access to the aquarium as well.
In the middle of all this going on in downtown, you're also working in Apollo Beach right now. Tell us about that one.
That is one of the most exciting things in my career here. We have always wanted an off-site location to do research, to further our education work. Quarantine. Every fish that you see in these exhibits, when we catch them, buy them, bring them in, they have to go into quarantine.
For how long?
It varies. It's 30 days, 60 days. You're making sure they're disease-free, making sure they're healthy, wealthy, and wise before you put them in. Every fish has to go into quarantine. We don't have a lot of quarantine space. So we've always wanted this off-site. We've looked everywhere. We don't have the money to go buy land. And so we've talked to a lot of friends and asked, can you help us? And one of those friends over all these years has been TECO. And we have struck a deal with TECO. They have the Manatee Viewing Center. They have a lot of land as well, but they have the Manatee Viewing Center. And I don't know, if 400,000 people a year go through the Manatee Viewing Center. It's crazy. And it's only from October to April. And so we've talked to them, and they want to further their presence down there environmentally. They want to build nature trails. They want to have canoeing and kayaking. We're working with them on that. And in exchange for helping them, they've given us 23 acres of land that we can build the Center for Conservation and Research. We then subsequently partnered with Fish and Wildlife because they need some land to do hatcheries, fish hatcheries for snook, redfish, and trout. They also want to further expand their education efforts. So we are partnering with them on this acreage that we have, and it just creates this wonderful three-partnership venture going forward.
And how many years down the road do you see?
You know, it's going to be 3 to 5 years because we've got to go raise money for that as well. I mean, TECO's got money for their portion of it, but the aquarium and Fish and Wildlife, we've got to go raise the money for it. We have plans. We're going to be on the property this year. We're actually breaking ground, doing a planning there this week of sea marsh grasses that are all part of this project down there, but we'll be on the property this year with probably a greenhouse where we will do coral propagation. But eventually there will be solid buildings down there, and it's just a dream and a vision that the aquarium has had for a long time, and I'm very happy to see it done.
And the projection of how much that's going to cost the aquarium?
$10 million. I mean, that's a ballpark. We don't know at this point. We haven't even drawn the pictures of what we want to do. We've contracted with a firm that's going to help us figure out exactly what goes on the footprint, how it goes on the footprint, and from that point, then we can determine exactly what it's going to cost.
The bottom line is, as long as growth continues, fundraising does as well.
Oh, of course. Of course.
Thanks, Tom. We appreciate it.
Thank you very much, Kat. Appreciate it.
We are just above the Hillsborough River with Lee Hoffman, the Riverwalk project manager. Hello, what a beautiful spot.
It is, isn't it?
You can really see the river.
Right.
Tell us why the Riverwalk is so important to the city.
Well, it takes advantage of an asset that we haven't fully developed. And a lot of cities would just kill for a waterfront, and we've got a gorgeous waterfront. We need to take full advantage of that. Putting the Riverwalk in not only gives people access to the water, but it takes advantage of that particular asset. It draws people down to our downtown. It develops the downtown. It becomes an economic catalyst, and it's just important for our community.
Let's really get into what the Riverwalk is, starting with how long will it be when it's done?
Well, it starts over in the Channel side area. It goes along Garrison Channel and then comes up the Hillsborough River, and it goes all the way up to North Boulevard Bridge, and that's about 2.6 miles.
And how much of that is completed as we speak?
Well, right now we've got about 1.5 miles done. The problem is that they're not connected. There's a gap between the southern 1 mile and the northern half mile, and that's why we're excited about the Kennedy Plaza, which will put an overwater link to put those two together to give us 1.8 miles once it's all done.
So tell us about the Kennedy Plaza.
Oh, it's going to be a fantastic overwater venue. It's going to be 4 blocks of overwater Riverwalk it's put together in segments with shade structures, gathering points, and if you've been in Tampa, you know that when you're on the water, it's a little bit cooler. So it provides a real nice spot to sit, relax, enjoy the water, a little bit cooler environment. Plus, it gives us that link that we need between Curtis Hickson Waterfront Park and McDill Park. And it really combines those two sections that we're talking about to give us 1.8 miles of continuous Riverwalk, which is what we've been looking for a long time.
How about the Bayshore Boulevard Trail? How does that fit in?
Well, it's all part of the waterfront environment and the trail system. It already connects to the Riverwalk via the Platte Street Bridge. What we'd like to do at some point in the future, we'd like to see a beautiful pedestrian bridge that really connects the end of Bayshore to the Riverwalk to provide that real nice continuity between the two.
So what is the projection for when the entire thing will be done?
Well, right now we have a Tiger Grant, and that Tiger Grant is with the Department of Transportation, and it provides $10.9 million to do not only the Kennedy Plaza piece, which connects those two segments that I was talking about, but it also carries the Riverwalk north from the Strass Center all the way up to Waterworks Park. And so that gives us quite a bit of Riverwalk, and it funds the design and the construction of all of that. So when that is done, then we'll have, including Waterworks Park, about 2.4 miles completed.
What's the time frame?
The time frame is we hope to get the bid out for Kennedy Plaza this month, which means in about 2 years it should be done. We've already got the request for qualifications out for the Doyle Carlton piece to hire an architect to design that, and that'll take about a year, and then it'll take about a year to construct it. So both pieces will be done in early 2015.
Now, when we talk about the Riverwalk, what we're talking about is actually the walk, the sidewalk, the pedestrian passageway. But along that, you hope to have all sorts of amenities, more than there are now even.
Correct. And that's all part of the environment. It's not necessarily just putting in the Riverwalk, it's developing an environment. It's a waterfront environment. If you've heard the mayor talk, the mayor wants the waterfront to be the center of downtown.
And what will be along the Riverwalk?
Well, there'll be not only the walkway, but we'd like more gathering spots. We'd like more restaurants. We would like more places to sit and have a nice drink along the Riverwalk. We've got museums already, and we link all of those museums, and we've got parks. We link all of those parks. We would like to see more programming along the Riverwalk, bring more events in, and that's what the Riverwalk really brings to the table. Is that it's not only a beautiful event venue, but it connects all of those other event venues so that you can have a waterfront-wide celebration. And that's what we're looking to do in the future.
And with some docks along the way, so you can also bring your boat down the river, stop and get off and enjoy this piece of the Riverwalk and move on down.
Absolutely. As a matter of fact, if you've been looking at the news lately, you know that just recently we completed the docks down at the History Center. So you can go there, you can visit the Columbia Restaurant, the History Center, go to the Marriott, walk along Coke-and-Chobee Park, or even go to Channelside, but by bringing your boat to that dock and going to the venues that are next by, that are close by.
Now, you had some input during the planning process called Envision, I-N-Vision, Envision. Tell me about that.
Well, that's a citywide process to say where do we want certain places in the downtown to develop and how do we want them to develop. Part of that was the waterfront. And so we had quite a bit of input from the public to say, along the Riverwalk, this is what we'd like for you to do, this is what we would like to see, because it's not necessarily what we think the public wants. We want to know what the public wants so that we can put it in place. And we learned a lot from that.
I'm sorry, were there any surprises?
Actually, not really, because we've been moving in a certain direction for a long time, and that just reinforced that we're moving in the right direction. Not only do you want to put the walkway in place, you want to put more shade, which we know we've heard over and over again because it's a little warm in Tampa in the summertime, and more gathering places, more places to just sit and relax. And so we're working on those kinds of places, in addition to the programming, the more events and more things to just get down to the Riverwalk for. And once the people start coming, and it grows and grows, then the retail and the other things will follow that. So it's a huge economic catalyst that we're looking to develop in the long term.
Okay, well, thank you, Lee Hoffman. We appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you for watching First Look at Tampa's redevelopment. We hope you'll tune in next time as we take a look at the development activities that are reshaping Tampa.